in modern marriages, when the priority is not on the family, here's what it boils down. It reminds me of Bob Marley. He said, people who only thing they have is money are the poorest people in the world.
Oh.
If the only thing you have is money, you're really poor.
Right.
And a lot of people with a modern mindset, they don't even have money. All they have is the desire for money. All for the black community, right? If there is even such thing as a black community, that's probably a whole topic in and of itself, right? Do we even have a black community? But with all the social ills that are facing us, from the prison to the economic setbacks that we have, the whole criminal injustice system, not just from the policing,
right.
What about the disparity in sentencing and all of the different things, everything, right? Why would we want to send our children to be in that system and then complain about that system?
Right.
Well, it's because we value having a second paycheck more than having our children home to get more stuff and acquire more stuff and things. And that's the modern approach. Is, hey, like there's one thing if both partners are working outside of the home to fund just a basic standard of living.
Right.
Like we're just not getting it done.
I like what you said about the basic standard of living.
Right. But most people are willing to forego the presence with their children and the family and offering the nurture, comfort, and support. They're willing to forego that for a higher standard of living that's beyond a basic standard of living. And there's nothing wrong with having a higher standing of living, but at what cost? See, some people are, where's these for y'all to say, you got this, and y'all, it's always people who, once you made it, you want to talk about other people. No, but we never, in our process, and we ain't made it for sure.
Right.
For sure haven't made it. But in the process of reaching higher and higher levels, in the process, we never did it at the expense of our family.
Right.
We don't do it at the expense of our family.
Right. And
it's a key distinction. And
if I can be honest with the people, there were times when after I came home in 2012, business was going phenomenal. It's a word I use a lot. And there were times when it wasn't. There were times when it was tight. And you may feel that if you are an entrepreneur, like my husband, as a wife, you may feel that where times might get tight and you really are like, okay, we're in a budget season. Like, this is the grocery budget. Don't go over this. Put stuff back if it is.
Budget season. It's always budget season.
Okay. Well, a lower budget season. Let me say that. Yes. A lower budget season. And we felt that.
I know what you was doing. You just didn't want to use the word frugal.
No. Oh my gosh. If James says frugal to me,
it's frugal season. Sometimes you go through frugal season.
He would say that. I was like, oh boy, it's tight. So just going through that, I can say that there were times when it was more lean and we made that one income work. And so when you were speaking to, like, you have to have arrived, people think you've arrived for you to, be a traditional mom and be a stay-at-home mom, be a homeschool mom and all these different things. No, you make your income work with whatever it is. You delay the different things.
Right.
You don't have 2 cars. We don't have 2 cars now because it's not needed. And why spend that money on a second vehicle if it's just going to sit? We will eventually have 2 cars, but it's not anything that is on the forefront of anything that's desired or needed right now. And so I think that the biggest thing is delaying and deciding what can I put on the back burner until we get there and not it be at the expense of our family and raising our kids.
We didn't go on vacation. You and I didn't have a strictly vacation with just me and you from our honeymoon till, was it 2020?
Huh?
Yeah, it was 2020.
Okay.
2020. Our honeymoon was in 2006. We went 14 years.
Really?
We went 14 years without ever having a pure vacation. Now, we traveled.
Yeah, we did. But look, we turned every travel opportunity into a vacation.
Right.
But it was always for business.
It was either for business or it was with the kids. So we were traveling for business. and then we say, okay, we're gonna go a day earlier, stay a day late, whatever.
Right.
We're traveling for business, or we or if it was a family vacation, right? And it wasn't until 2020 that we said, yo, let's actually just go get away. So you're like, why do I bring it up? Because again, it's misnomer that like you have to have this level of lifestyle and income where you just have all of this excess to be able to be a traditional couple. It's not the case. We just in the last few years started to travel and get away and start to upgrade some things in lifestyle because we delayed that gratification.
Yeah.
So it's a misnomer to think that you have to have this exorbitant income to be a traditional couple. That's just not the case. You just gotta have a priority again on the family. So in modern marriages, when the priority is not on the family, here's what it boils down. It reminds me of Bob Marley. He said, people who only thing they have is money are the poorest people in the world.
Oh.
If the only thing you have is money, you're really poor.
Right.
And a lot of people with a modern mindset, they don't even have money. All they have is the desire for money. So you don't even have the money. You just got a desire for more of it. If all you have is a desire for more money, more things, you don't see value in the externalities that come with your wife being home. You don't see that as valuable. Like, so let me talk to the men for a minute, because there's a lot of men like, I ain't about to have no woman that's just sitting at home and doing nothing. Right? They bring that energy. That's showing a devaluation of what it is that a wife and a mom brings to the table by being at home. It's showing a gross devaluation of the externality that is present with your children having access to her instead of having to have access to strangers all of the time. How she makes a house a home, like they're intangible things, and we get in our society, we don't value the intangibles enough. Like if you can't measure it, directly, if it's not tangible, like people don't place as much value in it. But some of it you can measure. Some of you can measure and you can place a dollar amount on it. But they're like, I don't know what dollar amount I could place on my children just having access to their mom throughout the day. How do you even put a price tag on that? How do I put a price tag on my wife knowing me better than anybody else in the world, and knowing my temperament, my personality, knowing my skill sets, knowing my journey, knowing all my history, when I am facing something that I need to make an important decision about, being able to call upon her as a sounding board to give me direction and hey, babe, this is what I'm thinking. I already got this mapped out, but I need another perspective, right? How do you even place a price tag on that?
I don't think you can. Like you say, it's intangible. So it's one of those things that you have, and we wouldn't have that if I was working outside of the home. And even if you still owned your business and I was working outside of the home, I am answering to somebody else's clock. Therefore, how can I, working 40 hours from 8 to 5, because that was my typical schedule, we can't chat and talk and do those different things. Maybe on your 15-minute break, on your lunch. But how well would I still really know all the how you say it? Intricacies? I couldn't get it out. Intricacies. How well could I really know the ins and outs? It did, didn't it? The ins and outs of, James's career, his business, his focus, if I wasn't present. If you enjoyed that clip, click here for the full episode.